them trees.
Please don't let us get in an accident.
I sure could use another pair of eyes up on this road map here.
Please let us get there by Mama's birthday.
I can't read this for the hill of beans. What do you think, Chickabiddy?
My grandparents' plan is to drive 2,000 miles west, all the way from Euclid, Ohio to Lewiston, Idaho, in 7 days. That's where my Mama's waiting for me.
2,000 miles. That's a heck of a haul. Are you sure we're going to make it in just 7 days?
Oh, don't make the girl nervous. I'm sure we'll make it with plenty of time. Heck, I think we'll even be able to take in a few sights along the way.
While we drive, I pray to the trees. I pray the same thing over and over. Please don't let us get in an accident. Please let us get there by Mama's birthday. I pray to the trees because it's easier than praying directly to God. There's nearly always a tree nearby.
Why don't you tell her how we're getting there?
Well, first we're going to take the turnpike out of Ohio and into Indiana, then Illinois.
Mama left us a little over a year ago.
Barrel straight across through Wisconsin, Minnesota, and North Dakota.
Didn't even say goodbye.
Head on through Montana, cross the Rocky Mountains in Wyoming, and head on straight to Idaho.
Just left me a letter. Dear Sal, it would sound too permanent if I had to say this out loud, so I'm writing it down instead. I'm going away for a little while. Not forever, just long enough for me to sort some things out. I need you to stay here and be brave. Your daddy needs you more than ever. I'll write to you and I'll think of you the entire time I'm away. I'll be back before the tulips bloom. I promise. Love, Mama. The tulips bloomed, but she never came back. She's still in Lewiston. So now I'm stuck traveling halfway across the country with my grandparents to go see her on her birthday.
Didn't I tell you? We'll see the whole ding-dong country.
I'm secretly holding out hope that I can bring her back. If there's any chance of that happening, it'll be on her birthday. But I can't tell Graham and Gramps that. If I did, they'd say I might as well try and catch a fish in the air.
Salamanca Tree Hill, you haven't said more than 2 words since we hit the road. It's going to be an awful long trip with you giving us the silent treatment.
Sorry, Graham.
Why don't you entertain us, Chickabiddy?
What sort of thing did you have in mind?
How about a story? Spin us the yarn.
Something about your mama, perhaps?
Oh, I don't think so.
Well, what about your friends? You got any tales to tell about them?
Psst. Sal. Well, I guess there is one person I could tell you about.
Oh, I knew she was holding out on us.
Sal, come quick. But I must warn you, it's an extensively strange story about a girl with the wildest imagination.
That sounds delicious.
Here it is. Her name is Phoebe Winterbottom. She was the first friend I made when Daddy and I moved to Euclid. This is where he's buried, I'm sure of it. Phoebe, I'm not so sure we should be back here. Aren't we trespassing? Don't worry, I told you, she's gone to work. She won't be back for hours. I don't have a good feeling about this.
Of course you don't. You're standing on an unmarked grave in my neighbor's yard in the middle of the night. It's creepy. Poor guy, what a way to go.
What do you mean? How did he go?
A hatchet to the head, maybe? Or maybe rat poison in his breakfast. I'm not really sure. But the point is, he was murdered. Maybe she hired an assassin who hid in their garage until they were asleep. And then...
Hold the phone. You said this story'd be strange, but you didn't say anything about it being gruesome.
Oh, I thought it was just getting good. Very suspenseful.
Oh, I'm just warning her. You know I get queasy at the sight of blood.
Oh, don't be such a sissy. It's just a story. Evidently, Chickabiddy, you inherited your nerve from your mother's side of the family.
I don't know what Graham meant by nerve. There were a lot of things I wanted to believe I inherited from my mother. But nerve is not one of them. It took some nerve to leave your husband and daughter. It took some nerve to find a spot 2,000 miles away. It took some nerve not to come back.
If you like, I'll hold your hand so you don't get scared.
Why, I mighty would like that.
Maybe I should start at the beginning, before things got so mysterious.
That sounds nice, Chickabiddy. We're all ears.
I had to start at a new school when Daddy and I moved to Ohio. And as a farm girl from Kentucky, I stuck out like a pickle in a pea patch. Alpha and Omega, did you see that? I didn't try to be different, but it didn't seem to matter.
Whoa, did you really just do that?
Phoebe had a particular idea about me from the start, and to tell you the truth, I was so surprised you could have knocked me over with a chicken feather.
Sal, you are so brave.
What? Me? No, I'm definitely not brave.
Yes, you are. You are brave.
All right, scholars, please settle down.
I never could have done what you did.
Let us thank our newest student, Miss...
Salamanca Hiddle?
Salo what?
Salamanca. You can call me Sal.
Well then, thank you, Sal, for eradicating our classroom of that ferocious arachnid.
It was no big deal. Really.
But you picked it up like you're holding a baby kitten. Who does that?
Not me.
See, what did I tell you? Brave.
There are plenty of things to be afraid of in this world. I'm terrified of car accidents, death, cancer, brain tumors, nuclear war, and pregnant women. But being a country girl, I'm not afraid of snakes, wasps, or spiders.
Thank you, Sal, for showing some restraint and escorting our eight-legged friend to the open window. Now, scholars, before we part ways for the afternoon, I would like you to locate your summer journals so I may collect them and read them.
Read them? But I thought you said they were private. If I had known you were going to read them, I would have changed all the names to protect the innocent.
Innocent?
Fear not, Miss Winterbottom. I've no doubt your journal is filled with all sorts of brilliant ideas and observations.
I don't even remember what I wrote.
I'm sure you're just being modest, Miss Finney.
See you tomorrow, Sal.
Thank you, Ben. As for you, Miss Fiddle.
I knew.
Ah, new. How blessed. There is nothing better in this whole wide world than a new person.
So, I didn't know about the journals.
Not to worry, not to worry. What shall we do? Aha! You'll record a mini-journal.
What?
Come now, Sal, you strike me as a bright young lady. Just fill this up with whatever interests you. Place, a room, a person. Don't worry about it too much. And in 2 weeks, I'll collect it. Good? Fantastic. I will see you both tomorrow.
I really wish you wouldn't read my journal. It's not for the faint of heart.
What do you mean?
Can you keep a secret?
Sure.
I live next door to a murderer.
Murderers are definitely on the list of things I'm afraid of.
Well, of course they are. They're murderers.
Oh, I thought, will you please calm down? It's just a story.
But murderers? I'm not sure if I approve of where this whole enterprise is going.
What there approve of? She lived to tell us about it, didn't she? Keep going, Salamanca. You're on a roll. Don't let this old geezer distract you. I, for one, am riveted. Feels almost like I was there.
You always were one for a good story.
Well, the funny thing is, before I met Phoebe, I had never suspected anyone of murder. But when Phoebe Winterbottom is your next door neighbor, when Phoebe Winterbottom is your best friend, the possibility is always right in front of you and as real as your next door neighbor.
Sal, is that you?
Keep walking.
Where are you scurrying off to in such a hurry?
Don't stop. It's only Mrs. Partridge. Come on.
Who's that with you?
This is Phoebe Winterbottom, your next door neighbor.
Oh, I thought I recognized her footsteps. Margaret,
Yes, Mother?
come over here and meet our next door neighbor.
1 minute, I'll be right there.
Sal, I really think we ought to be going.
Already? Why, you've only just got here. I've got cookies coming out of the oven any minute.
No, thank you, Sal.
Hi, Sal. I didn't know you'd be stopping by.
Okay, great. Well, it was really great seeing you and all, but we really gotta be going.
Yeah, we've got a lot of homework to do over at Phoebe's house, so...
Well, maybe next time.
See you later this evening, Sal.
Okay, bye. That was close.
It was?
Don't act like she doesn't scare you half to death.
Who, Mrs. Partridge? She's just a sweet old lady.
Not her. The other one.
Oh, Margaret.
Yes, Margaret. You don't find her the least bit strange? That wild red hair sticking out all over the place? And that last name.
Cadaver?
Yes, cadaver. You know what that means, don't you?
What?
It means dead body, that's what.
Really?
Yes, really. And guess what she does for a living?
She's a nurse, I think.
And don't you think that's crazy? that someone with the last name Dead Body can be hired as a nurse to help sick people? Sal, it's like hiring a vampire to work at a blood bank. It's not natural. She scares me half to death. I don't know how you and your father go over there practically every night.
I probably should have mentioned that Margaret is the reason me and my dad moved to Ohio in the first place. A few months after Mama left, Daddy met Margaret. And in order to be closer to her, we abandoned my swimming hole, my hayloft, and my sugar maple tree. I didn't soon forgive him for it.
Sal, please.
No, I'm not leaving. There are too many things here that I need. Who's going to take care of the pigs, or the chickens, or our maple tree?
There's too many memories here, Sal. I don't think I can survive another month without cracking up.
Then you go, but I'm staying. This is where I belong.
Sal, we have to be brave.
That sounds awfully familiar.
Your mother is not coming back, Sal.
And with that, he put the farm up for rent and moved us 300 miles north into a little white birdhouse 2 blocks away from our cadaver. He says we're going back, but I don't believe him. The only saving grace? Margaret's next-door neighbor, Phoebe Winterbottom.
Do you want to know an absolute secret? Promise not to tell?
Cross my heart.
Maybe I shouldn't. I mean, your dad goes over there practically every day. He likes her, doesn't he?
God, I hope not. But it doesn't matter, because I don't like her. I don't like anything about her. Come on, Phoebe, tell me.
Okay. Well, her name's Mrs. Cadaver, right? Have you ever wondered what happened to Mr. Cadaver? I think I know. And it's not pretty. Not pretty at all. It's awful, really.
Sal? Will you just tell me already?
Dinner's about ready if you'd like to come and join us.
I think she murdered her husband and chopped him up and buried him in the backyard.
I knew someone like Phoebe once.
It's Phoebe, Graham.
That's what I said. Phoebe. But her name was Gloria. And she lived in the most hepped-up world. Sky's more interesting than my own. But, oh, is it scary?
Gloria? Is she the one who told you not to marry me? Is she the one who said I'd be your ruination?
She was right about that, at least. But she only said that because she wanted you all to herself.
Well, go dang!
The Illinois state line.
What happened in Indiana?
Why, you gooseberry, you plumb missed Indiana. Don't you remember Elkhart? We ate lunch in Elkhart. What about South Bend? Do you remember South Bend? You took a pee in South Bend. Heck, you missed the entire Hoosier state.
Do you think we'll get to see Lake Michigan?
Don't see how you can miss it. It's darn near big as an ocean.
Dear Sal, I'm not even gone one day, and I already miss you so much. Here we are on the shores of the biggest lake I've ever seen in my entire life. It's like a giant blue pasture, like the color of the bluebells that grow behind the barn. Man, I met some real nice folks on the bus already. I sure hope they don't get too bored of hearing all about you. Kiss your daddy for me. Love, Mama.
Whoa! Watch where you're driving over there.
Oh, these big trucks don't know how to share the road.
Please be careful, Gramps.
Why don't you let Sal take over?
What do you mean?
Oh, don't act like you haven't been teaching her how to drive since you was big enough to touch the pedals.
You know about that?
How could I? You two picked up enough dust on that old farm. Sooner or later, you're bound to be found out.
Well, those were country roads. These here sea air states are serious business. Don't get me wrong, Sal. You can handle yourself the best of them. But I still got plenty of fuel left in the tank.
Your blinkers on. Why don't you keep telling about Phoebe?
Well, it seemed like I was over at Phoebe's house nearly every day. After school to do homework, on weekends for sleepovers. Daddy was glad that I had made a friend. And I was glad I had somewhere to go when I didn't want to see him and Margaret smiling at each other.
Mom, I'm home!
Really?
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't cry at least once a day about something? Usually I just ask her to do stuff for me, and that usually seems to pep her up. What's this? Don't judge a man until you've walked 2 moons in his moccasins? That's odd.
I think it's an old Indian proverb. I've heard my dad use it a bunch.
Oh, hi, Sal. I didn't realize you were here, too.
Oh, hi. All right, now let me have a look at this skirt.
What's this?
Oh, I don't know. Something I found on the porch this afternoon. It's probably nothing.
That's weird. It didn't say who it was from.
No, it was sitting in a blank envelope on the top step.
Why would someone leave us an anonymous message?
Phoebe, I told you I don't know. Now stand still so I can finish mending this skirt.
What are you yelling at me for? I thought it was just a note.
You're right. It is just a note. Probably doesn't mean anything. Why don't we have a treat to take our minds off it? I just finished baking a blackberry pie. Does that sound good to you, Sal?
Blackberries?
Don't you like blackberries?
No. I mean, yes, I like blackberries. It's just that... What?
I think I have some allergies.
Allergies? I'm so glad I don't have allergies. But you get hives? Do your ears get real big? Mary Lou says that avocados make her tongue fat. Ugh, gross. But I've never heard of a blackberry allergy before.
It's all right. I can probably just pick them out or something.
Well, it's a shame because my mother makes the most delicious pies.
Why, thank you, Phoebe. The truth is that blackberries remind me of my mother. That night, while I was filling out the mini journal Mr. Berkeley assigned for me, I made a list of all the things I liked, and they were all things from Bybanks. The fields, the trees, but no matter what I wrote, I just ended up thinking of my mother. Sal, over here, come quick. I found another blackberry bush. They're perfect. Wait up, Mama! Now remember, the ones on the bottom are for the rabbits, and the ones on the top are for the birds. And the ones that are people height are for people, right? Exactly right. Why did you kiss that tree, Mama? You caught me, did you? Well, I guess I just couldn't help myself. It's a beautiful tree, isn't it? Yeah. Do you think she felt it, Mama? I sure hope so, or I just wasted a perfectly good kiss. Tell me the story of the tree again, Mama. Well, there's an Indian legend that the earliest people came from trees. There was once a god who was very lonely because he was all by himself. But one day he realized that trees resembled people with their slender trunks and branches that danced gracefully in the wind. So one day he took his bow and he shot an arrow into the ash tree. And where the arrow went in, a person stepped out. Did I come from a tree, Mama? Well, your middle name is Tree, so I suppose you did. You know so many good stories, Mama. Hey, Sal, listen, did you hear that? Hear what? You mean that bird? Is that a bird? I think it might be a tree singing. You mean like the person inside the tree is singing? Mm-hmm. I don't know. It sounds just like a bird. I think it's just a bird, Mama. All right, if you say so. But maybe, just maybe, it's a tree singing. Do you really think it could be a tree singing, Mama? It sounds just like a bird. I'm gonna wait here and see. If it's a bird, I'm gonna find it. I sat there for what felt like hours looking for that bird. I never did find it. When I looked up at where Mama's mouth must have touched that tree, I could swear I saw a small dark stain. A blackberry kiss.
Now, just who'd be leaving an anonymous message for Mrs. Winterbottom to find?
We weren't exactly sure at first, but I could tell Phoebe and her mother were both very worried about it. The next day, Phoebe's mother left us home with strict instructions to keep the doors and the windows locked, not to answer the door for anyone, and to call the police if we heard any strange noises.
Sounds like she's fearful of an invasion.
I'm bored. Let's go to Mary Lou's house.
Your mom told us to stay here.
It'll be fine as long as we check the locks and the doors and windows before we go.
But didn't we just watch her do that before she left?
You can never be too careful, Sal. It's a dangerous world we live in, and my mother says you can never be too careful. Honestly, you can be so naive sometimes.
Will Ben be there?
And Mary Lou's? Probably. Why? You like him, don't you?
What? No!
You do like him!
I don't!
Of course, it's obvious. I mean, he's constantly staring at you.
Is he?
Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Yes, he is, endlessly.
Are you jealous?
Ew, gross, no!
What was that? Wasn't that your doorbell? Who is it? Well, aren't you gonna answer it? Why not?
You heard my mother. I'm not to answer the door.
Oh, honestly, Phoebe, do you want me to answer it?
We'll answer it together. Why, hello there.
Is this 49 Gray Street?
Indeed it is.
So the Winterbottoms live here.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Mrs. Winterbottom. Is she here or what?
Would you please excuse me a moment? Sal, do you detect any signs of lunacy? He doesn't appear to be hiding a gun. His pants are too tight. Maybe he had a knife in one of his socks.
He wasn't wearing any socks.
He wasn't? Oh, she can't come to the door right now.
I'll wait.
Will you please excuse me a moment?
What do we do?
Okay, we can't let him know that we're here alone. Do what I do. Mom, there's someone at the door for you! Yoo-hoo! Mom!
Mom, Mrs. Winterbottom!
That's weird. I thought she was here. But it looks like she went out. There are tons of other people here, though. Scads and scads of people. But, no Mrs. Winterbottom.
Is Mrs. Winterbottom your mother?
Uh-huh.
What's your name?
Phoebe.
Phoebe Winterbottom.
Yeah. Would you like to leave a message?
No, I don't think so.
That was close.
Who was that?
Does it even matter, Sal? Shouldn't we just count ourselves lucky to be alive? I mean, honestly, he was about to ambush us.
Don't be ridiculous, Phoebe.
Who's being ridiculous? You hear things like this on the news all the time. Two innocent girls, home alone, minding their own business. Bam! Ambushed by a lunatic escaped from the local prison.
He couldn't have been much older than 16 years old.
Don't be naive, Sal. I'm sure he's a master of disguise.
Honestly, you have the most vivid imagination of anyone I've ever met.
Thank you.
A lunatic! Can you imagine? How terrifying! Were you scared?
Not at first. Besides, Phoebe was convinced I was brave, and I didn't want her thinking otherwise.
Sal, you are the only girl I know who spends an entire week traveling halfway across the country in a car with a couple of old fogies. You are brave.
Thanks, Gramps.
Did you ever find out who he was?
Not right away. When Phoebe's mother came home, Phoebe told her what happened, and she was very concerned. She asked all sorts of questions, like, what did he say, and what did Phoebe say, and what did he look like, and how did he act, and how did Phoebe act, and on and on. And then she asked Phoebe not to tell her father for fear of upsetting him.
Well, who wouldn't be upset by the idea of a lunatic?
What did Phoebe say?
She said it was strange for her mother to keep a secret from her father like that.
Mrs. Winterbottom doesn't sound like she's very happy.
You don't know the half of it, Graham. 2 days later, Phoebe revealed to me some very disturbing news.
Sal, there's something I need to tell you. And you must promise not to tell a soul.
Phoebe, must everything be a secret?
This isn't a joke, Sal. I'm serious, promise.
Okay, I promise.
My mother's gone missing.
What?
Yesterday when I came home from school, she wasn't there, which is weird because she normally waits until I get home to leave because she wants to make sure I'm safe and I lock the doors and the windows and...
Phoebe, slow down. It's all right.
There were 2 notes on the table. One for me and one for my father. I opened mine.
Keep the doors and windows locked. Call your father if you need anything. Love you, Mom. Phoebe!
I know, totally normal, right? In fact, when I read it, I thought, finally! She finally realizes I'm old enough to be home by myself. But then my father came home and opened his note.
And?
I've gone away. I can't explain. I'll be back in a few days.
Oh no.
It's bad, right? I mean, gone. A few days. Why couldn't she explain?
What did your father say?
Absolutely nothing, if you can believe it.
Nothing at all?
No, he just took off his coat and was like, let's eat. Like it was normal. Like it was any other day. Sal, I think it was the lunatic. I think the lunatic came back and kidnapped my mom.
Really?
Yes, really, it's the only thing that makes sense.
Phoebe, if the lunatic had kidnapped your mother, would she have had time to sit down and write you notes?
You sound just like my father. Let's eat. Like it's no big deal.
Phoebe, I'm sure he's worried. Maybe he just doesn't want you to worry.
How can I not worry? My mother's vanished.
Phoebe, I'm so sorry.
Sal, you can't tell anyone. Please promise not to tell anyone.
Okay, I promise. I did tell one person.
Will you look at these? Where does the time go? I think you were only 4 or 5 in this one.
Dad?
And here's another one of you and your mother.
Dad, Phoebe's mother went away.
Oh no.
Yeah, that's what I said.
What happened?
She left some notes. She says she's coming back, but I don't believe it.
People usually come back, Sal.
Mama didn't come back.
No, she didn't.
How do you know someone didn't make Mom go to Idaho? Maybe it was blackmail.
Sal, your mother left because she wanted to.
And why didn't you stop her?
A person isn't a bird, Sal. You can't cage a person.
She shouldn't have gone. If she hadn't gone.
Sal, I'm sure she intended to come back.
Why didn't she?
You can't predict. A person can't foresee. What happened took us all by surprise, Sal. People usually come back.
Mama didn't come back! I wasn't so sure about Mrs. Winterbottom either. Phoebe asked me to spend the night at her house, but we hardly slept.
What was that?
What was what?
That noise. Do you think it's the lunatic coming back for the rest of us?
Phoebe, I really don't think.
Look, is that Margaret? What's she doing snooping around her garden at this hour?
Phoebe, it's after midnight.
Of course. When unsuspecting eyes are busy sleeping, she's out there making sure that Mr. Cadaver's bones haven't been dug up by stray dogs.
Phoebe, there are no stray dogs in this neighborhood. Now can we please go to sleep? We have school tomorrow, you know.
Sure, Sal. Why not? Go to bed, shut your eyes, sweet dreams. And when the lunatic comes back to do his worst to the rest of us, you better remember that I was the one who was paying attention.
Sure thing, Phoebe.
You'll thank me for waking you up before it's too late.
Good night, Phoebe.
Yeehaw! Last one in is a rotten egg.
If I knew we'd been swimming, I'd dress the part.
Oh, don't you worry. Besides, no one's looking. Now, time for you to shake a leg.
It's one of them legs out here, chicken, baby. You better jump in,
shores of the Mississippi River. It's amazing how something so big can be so quiet. Remember when we would lay in bed, snuggle close, and pretend we were on a raft floating down a river? Man, I sure wish you were here with me now. We'd walk up and down the docks looking for things to tie together and keeping our fingers crossed that they'd float. And if that didn't work, I bet we could stow away on a big barge all the way down to New Orleans. And if we timed it right, I bet we could even catch Mardi Gras. And you, Salamanca, you'd be the queen of the parade.
This here is private property.
What?
This land where I'm standing, it's private property.
You okay up there, Chickabiddy?
He says we're trespassing!
Are we? I didn't see any signs.
Well, you are.
Isn't this a river? I never heard of a river being private property.
I don't know what you're looking for up there, but I guarantee you won't find it.
Ow!
You okay down there, Gooseberry?
That water moccasin, it seems to have made a snack on my leg.
More at least the sound, Sal. Sure am glad you had that knife. Now, this will sting a little. I hope you don't hold it against me.
Hold my hand, Sal.
Do you think she's going to be alright?
Can't say for sure.
I know of a hospital not too far away.
Well, what are we waiting for? Sam, grab our things. Boy, you're gonna have to continue the sucking and spitting while I drive. Let's go.
Not now. Not here. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not when we've come this far. It's not fair. It's not fair! This wasn't supposed to happen. And in a perfect world it wouldn't have. But it's not a perfect world. Daddy says that sometimes you can't predict. That you might as well try and catch a fish in the air. But that doesn't mean that I still can't blame something. Or someone. Even if that someone is me. A few months before Mama left, something bad happened. Daddy says it wasn't my fault, but I still don't believe him.
Sugar, I wish you'd listen to reason and stop working so hard. You're liable to hurt yourself.
Scrubbing the floors makes my back feel better.
Can't Sal help you?
Leave her alone. Lord knows, once this baby comes, she'll have plenty to do around here.
Sugar.
Stop worrying. I'm nearly done. You better go run your errand before this baby comes.
Don't joke. I'll be back before you can get up off the floor.
When my mother first told me she was pregnant, I didn't like the idea. I was jealous. What was wrong with having just me? Wasn't I enough? Mama knew this, but she was patient with me. And as that baby grew inside her, I started looking forward to seeing her. We didn't know if it would be a boy or a girl, but I was hoping for a baby sister. And then everything changed. As soon as that sound pierced the air, I was hopeless. It felt like I was falling in slow motion, watching every branch I reached for just come away in my hands. I don't remember hitting the ground. When I came to, Sal, sharp needles shot up and down my leg. Salamanca! It was getting darker, and I could hear my mother calling for me in the distance. There was no one else in the world I wanted more than my mother. She had come to save me. But even as I felt her lift me off the ground, as I felt her strain and lose balance underneath my weight, somehow I knew this effort would be too much for her. Oh! Ow! Oh! Ah! Ow! Ow!
Something's wrong.
Ow! Ow! Ow!
might have been dead for hours. I just can't say exactly.
Let me hold it.
Oh, Sugar.
What are you waiting for? Let me hold my baby.
Sugar. It didn't make it.
I'm sorry.
John? John, where's he taking her? Where's he taking my baby?
Sugar, I wish.
Was it a boy or a girl?
A girl.
May I hold her?
I don't think that's a good idea.
That night, an ambulance came and took my mother to the hospital. She had to have 2 operations over the next 2 days. She was never the same after that. I wanted so badly to make her feel better, to tell her a story like she had done for me so many times when I was sad. My mother knew so many great stories, especially Indian stories. She knew about thunder gods, earth makers, and wise crows. Her favorite stories were about people who came back after death, as a bird or a river or a horse. She even knew one story about an old warrior who came back as a potato. That night, when she lost the baby, I wondered what the baby would come back as. A bird? A tree? Mama was never the same after that. And every day since then I've wondered, if I hadn't climbed that tree, would she have lost that baby? And if she hadn't lost that baby, would she have gotten on that bus for Lewiston?